All right. So if it ever catches up with us here, we might actually get to see a picture of you, Jodi, on the screen here. I captured that picture when you and Mark came to the training. That was back in 2007, wasn't it?
It was.
All right. So let's see, folks. What we're going to do is tell you a little bit about Jodi herself. I'm going to do that by just asking her some questions. She was basically a housewife at the time, right, Jodi? You weren't working at the time?
That is correct.
And how did you find out about ABS?
Via the internet. My husband, Mark, was actually just Googling and came across one of the best franchises, and we called, and, you know, yeah, we actually, when we called in, talked with you, Patrick, and...
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I was actually answering the phone back there in 2007.
You did. Yeah, I think it was like around lunchtime, if I remember correctly. So
yeah,
it was just meant to be.
All right, and then you basically got a hold of us, found out a little bit about our training class that we hold here in Dallas, right? And when did you come to the training? Do you remember? Was that in 2007?
Yes, it was. It was probably like in June of 2007 we did. And it was, I mean, you know, I remember, you know, coming back talking, you know, like a business lady. It was kind of crazy, but you know, it was very, very useful and very informational.
Were we doing 5 days of training back then?
It was like 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right. In 2007, we were probably just doing 4 days, and then we added the extra day, I think in 2009 or something like that. So, yeah, we do a full week now, Jodi. I mean, it's pretty intense. You think you had to swallow a lot of information during those 4 days. This is pretty intense nowadays.
Oh, that's great. More the better, you know, to put under your belt.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so you went to the training class. Do you remember how many people were in there, Jodi, at the time?
Probably about, I don't know, anywhere from 30 to 40 maybe.
Yeah, back then we probably had classes that were as big as 30. We've limited that now. Our classroom that we hold it in now only holds 20 because we decided, you know, to do some hands-on training. I don't think we did that back then, did we? We didn't bring in laptops, did we?
No. No.
Yeah.
Wow, y'all have really changed. Maybe, you know, we could come back for free.
Hey, yeah, you can come back for a refresher.
Yeah, refresher. Oh, good.
All right, so at the time you were living in Louisiana, right?
Yes, in Mandeville, Louisiana. That's correct.
And what was Mark doing at the time?
He was working for UPS, and, you know, when he was Googling and found, you know, ABS, he was Googling to find a way out, you know, of the company, and he was working just really long hours and wanted to do something and spend more time with his family. We have 2 precious boys, and so, you know, we really were just setting up the company when we lived in Louisiana, you know, and didn't do any marketing until we moved back home to Mississippi. And it took, you know, about, I would say, probably 4 to 6 months after I started marketing, you know, before we, you know, received our first client.
Wow. Okay. So what did you do to get that first client?
Actually, we found him in the newspaper. He was advertising, opening a new clinic. And I just stopped by and expecting, you know, to go through, you know, the office manager or front desk, and, you know, the doctor was there and just, you know, sent me on the, you know, the front desk sent me on back with him, and he had not, you know, signed up a biller or anyone, and he was just thinking of maybe doing it in-house, and it was just, it was luck of the draw, really, that I, you know, found him through the newspaper.
Wow. Now, were we teaching back then how to use classified ads? to find people, prospects?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
See, that's a whole other marketing tool we came up with. Using Craigslist, we teach people how to find doctors that are looking for billers out on Craigslist. Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
And we have a special sample resume that we came up with that you can actually send to the doctor to let them know that you are looking for work, but, you're not looking to work inside their office. You're looking to work outside their office. And so we teach them, how to approach them for outsourcing their billing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a great tool.
All right, and what kind of doctor was your first doctor, Jodi?
Family medicine at the time.
Okay.
And we started out billing for him, seeing about 5 to 6 patients a day. And he has now become a pain specialist doctor, even dispenses DME equipment. We do credentialing services also. So I was able to get his DME license with Medicare and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Anyway, he's dispensing back braces right now and knee braces.
Okay, so
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jodi. You mentioned DME, durable medical equipment, which is things like back braces, right, and other medical equipment.
Right.
And you also mentioned pain management. Is that what he's into?
Yes. He specializes in patients that are on Suboxone, that are trying to get off of opioids. They're chemical dependency, so they're trying to get off of those. And so there's drug screens that are involved in that. And he has a high complexity lab. He has come a long way from being a family medicine doctor. He's nonstop. He, now I've credentialed him to be opening an urgent care next month. He has an after-hours clinic also, and we'll be opening up 5 satellite offices within the end of the year. A total of 15 satellite offices in 15 years.
Oh my goodness, he's got some huge goals there, doesn't he?
He does, and it's been great. And just to say that to all the licensees out there, I mean, if you perform it and do your job and keep that good personal relationship, with the doctors. We received the clients that we have now from him, from referrals. So just go out there and get that, that one account. And, doctors talk. And I remember when we went to training, these doctors, they talk on the golf, course about their money, their cash flow. Well, it's true. It is.
I love to hear that, Jodi, because, I've been teaching that to people for years now, that if you just get that one doctor and do a good job for them, they know other doctors, and they're going to spread the word. Yeah.
And even to the rep, this doctor has put our name out there for the reagents that he uses with his in-house lab. They are calling us and putting us into contact with other doctors out of state. So it's,
Now, do you have any doctors now that are out of state, or are they all local?
Actually, we do have an account in Texas. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, we do.
So you're in Mississippi, and you're doing billing for a doctor here in Texas. There's no limit, is there? There's no territories. And with the technology we have available, you can certainly work from anywhere in the world, can't you?
That's right. That is right.
In fact, you told me earlier, Jodi, that you have is it a sister-in-law that's working for you, beginning to work for you from Louisiana?
Yes. Yes. She will be doing some billing for us. So.
Oh, that is great. Well, that's the advantage of a web-based system, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Now, you mentioned credentialing. That may be a little confusing to some people here. By the way, Jodi, since you went through training, we actually offer credentialing now through one of our licensees who's a credentialed credentialer, and so we offer that service through, our licensees now to doctors. But you just learned that on your own, right?
Exactly. Just jumped in.
Yeah. And explain what that is to people who don't know credentialing. What is it?
Okay, there are payers that do require you to be into their network. There's applications that have to be filled out. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the CAQH. It's a credentialing company, and if they have their CAQH number, that does make things more simpler. But it's just applications that have to be filled out, and and then it takes time for them to get approved. And I don't know how much in depth but there's some follow up to that.
So it's basically getting the paperwork done between the doctor and the people he wants to bill. Yes,
exactly. Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, of course, I'll require, if the doctor if they're already practicing, they have their individual numbers. But if you come across a new practice, they have to obtain, an approved application with their group information or their group numbers and such. So, or they don't get paid. So.
Right. All right. So, Jodi, now let me ask you this. I'm going to open it up for questions if you don't mind. Let's just see if some folks have some questions. And I won't ask you anything too personal here about, how much money did you stick in the bank last year, that type of thing. But give us a feel for that, Jodi. Give us a feel for where you're at right now. How many clients do you have now?
We have 6 practices currently.
6 practices, all right. And can you give us a feel? You're not working, you're working full-time, obviously, at this business. So what about Mark? Was he able to get into the business too?
Yes. He was able to quit UPS and took, early retirement. Of course, we're not collecting on that at this time because he's, we're still middle-aged, but he was able to quit UPS and, he worked full-time with myself. And so,
now, do you have, so you're both working full-time in this business, and I'm assuming that that's providing a fairly decent living for you then?
Yes. We are now at a 6-figure income.
Oh, that's fantastic, Jodi. And that's with 6 practices. Now, what happens when you get these other 5 and then 15 more?
Our figures go up.
I'd say you can retire too.
I'm telling you, it's wonderful. It's definitely. With the money that you have invested with ABS licensees, you get that back with your first account within the first. Just a couple of months.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all, does it? Because, from one typical doctor, you could probably make, a couple of $1,000s a month. So in a year's time, you've made back, you made another $24,000 off that doctor.
That's right. And that's with a doctor that's just doing office visits. That's pretty much no procedures. And this, in our area, they do procedures. They're, it's not going to just be an office visit. So. And they do. And you can offer also ancillary services that goes into the practices. To help increase their income. That's one way we go in as a consultant, and if we are seeing certain diagnoses come across, we give them names and numbers of our contact, people that can come into their clinic and do these procedures.
Right.
So,
yeah, and well, with the auxiliary services that you can offer as an ABS licensee, from offering them the choice pay, patient payment plan, audit guard, iDocs Now, Quick Collect, Auto Card. All of those things, of course, give you more income and help solve those cash revenue problems that the doctors are facing out there, huh?
That's right. That is definitely true.
Okay, so I'm giving people an opportunity to type in some questions here. So I see a few of them coming in here. Jodi, one of them here, Ann is asking, Jodi, did you have any background in the medical field before getting started with ABS?
The only background I had was being a pharmacy technician, and no, that would be an answer, no. I was a pharmacy tech when I was going to college. My background is a paralegal, legal assistant. And
oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah. So really, no experience in this business whatsoever. What made you guys choose medical billing of all things?
That's kind of, I guess, a good question. I guess you sold it to us, you and Marilyn.
We just told you it was a good business to get into, and you believed us, huh?
That's right. We trusted you. And,
well, I'm glad.
Everybody has to have health care, so,
Yeah, I think it'll be around a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's Lance asking questions. First, he says, thanks for the time this afternoon, Jodi. He says, can I ask how much time you and your husband spend processing the claims for the 6 clients you currently have, hours per day, week, per person, et cetera?
Well, we actually do not bill any of our clients. We have billers.
Okay, so you got other people working for you too. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Good. Now, are these just like contractors, independent contractors that you pay to do this?
Yes, independent contractors. We do 1099s on them.
Okay, so you don't mess with taxes or anything. Just give them a one piece of paper at the end of the year that says, "Here's how much I paid you. Go pay your taxes."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No benefits or anything. They just, I guess they're working from their home using their own computer, logging into our web-based system.
That is correct.
Now, can you monitor those people, Jodi, and see what they're doing?
Yes. Yes. On the today's screen, the practice management that we use, I mean, you can see exactly, if they're working or not. I mean, the claims go into the waiting submission bucket, and I can tell, how many they're doing, and also, of course, of the reporting capability of the system. It gives us, the number of claims that they work on. So.
Yeah, it's just all right there in the reporting, isn't it?
Right.
And so for folks who are not real familiar with this kind of software, of course, nothing resides on your computer or the doctor's, right? It's all just out there in the cloud, they call it nowadays, somewhere in the cloud, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you ever worked from anywhere other than your home? Have you ever gone on vacation and worked on it, or?
Oh, yeah. Definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
We take our laptop. If we have two boys, and they've been doing some camps this summer, and both of us want to go, so we'll just take our laptop, and we can log into the system. We do the patient fielding of the patient calls. If they've got a question about their balance or whatever, the doctor's office calls. We can answer whatever we need to do from our laptop anywhere. So.
Isn't that great?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, people don't realize how high tech this is until they actually start using the system. And I even had a licensee tell us yesterday. We had a webinar for some licensees, and she was on there saying, "Pat, I'm even using your system using a hotspot out here in the middle of nowhere." And she's in Pennsylvania, like in the middle, literally, of nowhere. And she says it works fine. It's just great.
Technology is awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Now, I see a couple of questions coming in for about our opportunity. So, folks, I'm not going to address those until the end, okay? If they have to do with specifically Jodi, think of asking Jodi a specific question that you have always wanted to ask somebody who, got into medical billing. are, that's been through our training as a company. And let's see, here's one that just came in. This is from Glenn. He says, Jodi, do you take additional training after the initial class to upgrade your skills? What have you learned after our training, Jodi, or did you take any other courses in coding or anything?
No. No, we didn't. We learned just from taking, the first account. I mean, it's you can get buried on learning all of this stuff. Just go and get your first account, and when the claims are processed, you learn as you go.
Yeah, it's on the job training, isn't it?
It is, as any profession,
I think people are under the impression, because they see a lot of stuff on the internet out there about, take this course in medical billing, take this course in coding, and, they think they have to know all kinds of stuff that you really don't have to know, do you?
No, you don't. And with the system that we use, it's very helpful with the coding. Like if, the doctor's office, if they give you an incorrect code, it lists, it'll tell you it's invalid. And so it makes it very simple with the practice management system that we use.
Yeah, the codes are all built in. And by the way, Jodi, I don't know if you know this or not, but the ICD-10s are still coming out. It's like October 2014 now, I think. But we'll go from 13,000 codes to over 68,000 codes. And the nice thing is our system is going to be telling you when you put in an ICD-9 code that, by the way, here's what the 2000, the ICD-10 codes are going to look like, and it will give you some suggestions as to which ones you are the doctor if they're using the electronic health records part of our system. It will tell them what codes that they could choose from the new codes.
That'll be very good.
Yeah. And so that's all automated, of course. All right, Camellia wants to know, Jodi, how do you keep patient confidentiality if the information stays out in cyberspace? A lot of people wonder about that, of hackers, stealing the information and so forth that's out there. But, Jodi, I'll just address that. It's just basically, folks, it's HIPAA compliant. If it's HIPAA compliant, a system, then that means that the government has gone through and made sure that that system is secure enough to secure that data that's out there. It's the same type of security that if you use banking, online banking, I mean, that's done every day. Millions of people do online banking every day. So our system is redundant, by the way. There's several servers where the data resides. So if one went down and crashed, it would just immediately switch over to the other one. And of course, all that data is backed up on a nightly basis. So you never have lost anything, have you, Jodi?
No, I haven't. And that is a huge selling point to practices also, because those that are doing in-house and do not have a web-based system, and a lot, I have found that are that way. I mean, they have to upgrade their servers. There's a huge cost in all of that.
Oh, yes.
There's not.
If they've got that setting on their computer in their office, those doctors better know what they're doing, huh? They better be backing that up on a regular basis, off-site, in a secure location. And what if somebody comes in and steals a doctor's computer and that data's on the hard disk? They've got all access to all that.
Right.
So this is much better to have it out there in the cloud. Everybody's moving to the cloud, folks. Everybody, Microsoft and Google and Yahoo and everything's out there. So you don't have to worry about that. That's pretty secure out there nowadays. All right, here's a question from Rosie, Jodi. She says, "Hi, Jodi. I'm a slow learner. How long did it take you? Also, what if you don't know how to get work from a doctor or how to communicate with them to get the business?" Well, that's a whole other thing. But how long did it actually take you, Jodi, once you got your first doctor, to learn how to actually do the billing for that doctor?
Well, we jumped right in. I mean, it's, you have the training. I know, when we first learned to bill, I mean, it's, it was out there. We used the MedRIM system, and there's, training. There was training on site that, you could just go to, and it just was a step-by-step process. It's the doctor's offices give you what you need to put, per se, just on the template or the system. The patient information with all their demographics. Some of our clients, we put it in, some they do, but either or, it's just putting in basic information of the patient with the address and date of birth and insurance information, and then they give you the codes on a super bill. So you just enter those codes and you release. It's a simple process. It doesn't take much time at all to do.
Yeah, again, people think that it's more difficult than it is, don't they, once they get in and realize that this is not rocket science. It's not brain surgery, forgive the pun.
It's literally, it's just data entry. Is what it is.
That's right. You're just taking the data that you get from the doctor and putting it into the system. And basically that's why you don't really have to have a lot of liability, is there? That's one of the questions I got here from somebody. I forget who it is now. Let's see. Glenn says, do you have to carry any additional liability insurance to cover your business?
No.
There's really no liability if you're doing what the doctor says, right? Now, if you intentionally go in and try to defraud the government out of some money, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, the doctor, you work for him, and, you put the information in that's given from his office, and within the contract, it falls back on that doctor. But no, there's no necessary insurance needed.
Yeah. Mark says, did you make many billing mistakes in the beginning?
Yeah, there was a few. There was, it was a learning process. But when those claims, come back through, and you just correct them. And with the system, you have like EDI rejections, or like from that, it goes from that clearinghouse. So a lot of it, that is called up front. Within 24 hours, you'll see that and you can work that. But as you bill, it just, it's, you're going to see most of the same codes if you're going to, be pain specialist or do, office visit codes with the primary care physician.
Yeah, and you're just going to learn as you go along, and that's why Edith is asking this question here. How much time does Jodi spend processing the average practice? Can you give us a feel for that? How many claims a day could you do, or, give us a feel for what you think time-wise you'd have to devote to a doctor that had, say, 100 claims a week or something?
Well, just strictly billing, I would say the average of our biller does about 150 to 200 a day. And that's probably working about 6 hours a day.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a good feel for it. A lot of people are wondering, time-wise, how much you're making, because you're obviously paying other people to do the work, and yet you're still saying that there's a six-figure income there for you. So there's just a lot of claims that can be done in a day's time. And Jodi, do you mind me asking? I saw a question here from John. He was asking something about how do you charge your doctors? What kind of percentage are you charging the doctor on the money you're billing? Typically.
It ranges. The doctor that's the pain specialist, we bring him in about $600,000, $700,000 a month. He does not like the flat rate for claims. So we're still, charging percentage on his account. So his account, 1.5%. I know that's low. Now it goes up to 6% is our highest practice. With the 6%, he's not doing a lot of the labs and specialty procedures. So, but we don't have anyone on flat rate. We do charge, percentage, and it's according to how much, how much the insurance collected. We price it off of that. We do not charge for any of the patient revenues. If the patients come in and make payment on their balance, we do not charge the doctor for the patient revenues. I know some billers do, billing companies do, but that, to me, we stand alone for that. And I know that there's two of our practices, but that's what stood out with them. They were just, it was a very easy proposal to do and an account to get because we didn't collect on the patient revenues. So.
Jodi, do you bill the patients, though? Do you send out statements to the system?
Some accounts we do. Some accounts, they just collect. They look at our system and collect from the patients as they come in. They've tried, with us sending out patient statements, and they didn't like it. They got better payment just trying to collect, as the patient comes in.
Yeah.
So we do it both ways.
Yeah, but you're certainly not in the collection business. You don't get on the phone and harass patients, do you?
No, we do not. No.
Now, folks, we have a system, a service that you can offer to doctors called Quick Collect, and it does collect from the patients that are past due, but it's done through a series of letters that come from the doctor, and the doctor receives the money directly into his office. And we track that through an online system, and you get paid a percentage of that, but you don't ever have to do any collecting yourself. So Camellia is asking a percentage of what amount? It's the amount that you're actually collecting for the doctor, right, that he's paid?
Right. From the insurance. Whatever you have collected for that month, whatever insurance has paid him through the system, you see exactly what he has been paid, and those claims are processed, and then you charge that percentage for that month that you've collected for him.
Yeah. And, of course, that's all in the system. You can pull up reports that show exactly what that dollar figure is. And the doctor, him or herself, can actually look at that figure, can't they? And they don't have to question whether you're billing them the correct amount. They can see how much money was collected through the system.
Right. They can see it, and what we do, we just provide that. With our invoices, we provide that report to them.
Just print out a report, yeah. All right, so David says, do you send out hard copies to the people being billed? Jodi, I think you just answered that question about some do, and some for some doctors, and some you don't. But for those of you who don't know our system, by the way, it automatically can send those statements out through the system and do that for you. And I think it's like 65 cents per statement. That includes the postage and everything. So you can't even do it for that yourself. So it's just better to just push a button and let the system do that.
Definitely.
And the last part of David's question is, how do you procure office supplies? He must think you're out in the middle of nowhere, Jodi, I guess. I don't know what he means by that, but I guess you could order them from Amazon, couldn't you, if you're too far out, the sticks?
Oh, we have a Walmart and Office Depot real close.
Okay. Let's see. Nasoma says, what if you don't have an iPhone? Can I see this on my Android phone? I showed a picture a while ago, Jodi, of our system running on an iPhone. Yes, you can run it on an Android phone, Galaxy, iPads, even the new Microsoft Surface tablet, anything, folks, because it just runs through a browser, basically. You just run it through a browser on those devices, and you'll be able to look at it just like you would on your home computer. Nasoma also asked this question, Jodi, how long did it take you to get your first doctor? When you got back there and started actually marketing in Mississippi?
About 4 months.
4 months, okay, yeah. That's pretty typical. Most of our licensees will get their first client within the first 60 to 120, sometimes even up to 6 months, depends on whether they're doing it full-time, part-time, or whether they're following our instructions or trying to reinvent the wheel. A lot of factors involved in that. And then some, it takes much longer because they, again, have other things going on in their life. They haven't done some of the things that we teach them to do on a regular basis, and so they haven't kept the pipeline filled, so to speak. So, it takes longer for others.
And I would like this,
yeah.
Excuse me, Patrick. At first I went through the gatekeeper, through the office manager, through the front desk. I mean, that's good if you want to start out that way, but, I ordered, we have the what is it, the nameplates, the name tags through, Laser Mech, I think is who we ordered them from. So, we looked like drug sales reps, and you just give your business card and ask to speak to the doctor. And I have been, I think that's, if you're able to get in touch with that doctor, definitely just try to get in there with the doctor. Because those gatekeepers, they go to lunch with, their friends with, if they're in-house billers there and everything, and,
Yeah, they're sometimes protective, aren't they? They're kind of scared of their own job security, aren't they?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And folks, we have whole sessions on that during our week-long training class. Even Jodi doesn't know about some of the things we've come up with lately to get past that gatekeeper. Like she said, the doctor, he or she, is the only one that will make that decision. I mean, it's their money, right, Jodi? It's not anybody else's there in the office.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And now is the time to get those doctors. I mean, because there's a lot of transition is going on, and we have the system, to work through all of those obstacles, and with our cash flow,
Right.
You've got a huge step in the door. And then with the EMR, the electronic medical records that all doctors are going to, because they're going to get reductions in their payments from Medicare. Just show them the EMR, and it sells itself. So
yeah, that's right.
It's a great time to get new doctors.
Exactly. Tamara says, "Hi, Jodi. Did you try any other home business before you found ABS?"
No, this is the first one.
Really? So you'd never been in business for yourself? You or Mark, huh?
That's right. This is our first. We are in our dream.
Well, that speaks volumes, doesn't it, Jodi? That's a great testimonial to get into the business for the very first time in business, and you're making a six-figure income. So, love that story. Hey, you'll be moving into a commercial office space probably sometime soon, Jodi. When you do, I'm coming out there. We're going to go out to the most expensive restaurant we can find and celebrate.
Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah. Let's see. Lance has another question. He says, there's a lot of competition out there calling and trying to sway physician offices to use their technology and their billing systems as well. Is this something that you've had to deal with and overcome with your current accounts? What did you run into, Jodi, when you got out there? The doctors were obviously doing their own billing or having it outsourced already, right?
Right. Well, new practices, and then the others were doing it in-house. Of the 6 practices, we do not have any practice that was already outsourcing. So they were either doing in-house or they were new practices.